Hi everyone, and welcome to the Libra Weekly Illumination Reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Services. I am Lauren. Hi and welcome. So this is a weekly reading that is meant to engage you with the Triad of Engagement, which is working with the three core principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation to illuminate some aspect of your unique internal authentic self and how that needs to connect and engage with your external environment for you to better experience your spiritual purpose. All right, so Libra, we are going to start with pulling a advice card to engage us with the principle of curiosity. Now, curiosity is where we are opening ourselves up to the awe and wonder and magic of not only our external life, but also our internal life. We are stepping into that place of what do we not know about ourselves and what do we not know about our external environment, and how the two are meant to engage for us to better experience our spiritual purpose. Curiosity is what also helps us break through those negative thought patterns that we develop as we move from childhood into adulthood, where we get hurt or experience negative situations and we start to block ourselves off from being curious. We don't want to be curious because the last time we were curious, we got hurt. And we want to keep in mind that there's always going to be that even if we experience the same situation, between last time we did something and we got hurt to today we're experiencing a similar situation, it doesn't necessarily mean that all the components are the same. So with curiosity, we're opening ourselves up to perhaps looking at new situations and looking at similar situations with different eyes, or looking at parts of ourselves that we thought maybe couldn't change, or parts of ourselves that we feel we've had to hide because when we've brought out in the past it just wasn't well received. And this is where we get a chance to look at them again through the eyes of curiosity, through the eyes of a child who doesn't know any better, who's never maybe experienced that part of yourself or that situation, and we're coming at it with this kind of fresh energy. That's really the power of curiosity, is we get a chance to break through all of that, what I like to call the phrasing of, well, this always happens, or this always happens to me, or when I bring out this part of myself, this is how it's always received. And that is what keeps us stagnant. That's what keeps us hiding parts of ourselves that are meant to be engaged and made vulnerable to our external environment. All right, so Libra, we have two cards. And what's interesting is that Gemini, I just did the Gemini reading before you guys, and they got two different cards, but both blue. So there is this element here of really tapping into the throat chakra and the third eye chakra and connecting with what is coming in through spirit and bringing that down into a place of where we can verbalize, or we can speak from that place, where we can, I always look at the throat chakra as where we kind of can, it's almost like we can speak things into being. There is this quality. Now, obviously, I don't want to focus on a specific religion, but there is that theme from the Bible of, and so God spoke it into being. And there is this quality coming through for you, that this is something to be aware of this week. So what we're going to do, I'm going to read you the cards that came out, and we're going to build a question around the energy of these cards for you to take what is a very general reading and make it individualized for yourself, so that you can continue to ask yourself this question throughout the week. And by the end of the week, hopefully you can answer it. And because you're the one answering it for yourself, that's how we make this an individualized reading. It's kind of like homework, but this is also how you're going to be opening up some aspect of yourself that needs to have some awareness brought to it. So we have breathe. And it says, the breath is the vital bridge between your body and soul. It's the connection between the inside and outside, connecting you to the universe, spirit, and divine source. The breath permeates your entire being with prana, which is the same life-giving force that nourishes everything in the universe. And then we have light, and this is my favorite card in this deck. It says, imagine yourself as a being composed of energy and light, because in reality, that's precisely what you are. You are a powerful being, and people are attracted to your brilliance. This is a time to remember how vibrant you truly are. There's this quality for me, Libra, that with these two cards combined, you're being asked to remember your connection to spirit, but to take it one step beyond. Not even just remembering your connection to spirit, but remembering that you actually are a part of spirit, that you are a being of light, as we all are, as everything is in this universe is all made up of light. And there is right now, just as I'm saying that, there's kind of a message coming in of like the light and the darkness. And we can't know light unless we know darkness. And I think what you're being asked to remember this week is perhaps you've gone through some darkness, and perhaps it's coming up for you. Maybe you're having to face some aspect of yourself that you consider dark, or some situation or circumstance that you've had to go through or are currently experiencing that is dark. And you're being asked to remember that you are the light, that no matter what you are experiencing or no matter what part of yourself is you feel kind of dark or negative or hasn't been well received in the past, that it's still a part of you and you can transmute that into light. There's this quality here coming through as well of stopping, slowing down, breathing, almost breathing and feeling like you are disseminating. So a question I would build in for yourself now is, what part of yourself do you not feel is light and bright at this point? And this can even be, I like to bring this back to yourself, but this can also be a part of your current environment as well. This could be people that you surround yourself with. This could be your home environment. This could be your work environment. But it's looking at what feels dark to you and where can you bring your energy into play to transmute it into something light. And what does that look like? That looks like you, maybe at work, changing the topic or the subject when you're sitting around the water cooler and everybody's bitching, excuse my language, about work or your boss or the new protocol that was just, mandated, and that you in turn bring your energy into that to change it from this kind of dark, negative experience or discussion to something lighter, whether you change the subject, whether you actually remove yourself from that situation, just don't take part in it, or whether you actually, and really what I'm feeling here is the balancing of the scales, Libra. Now you have that beautiful superpower to do that, to be able to see both sides, to feel light and heavy and dark and light at the same time and be able to bring that kind of all into your experience. But there's this quality here of being asked now to play with the light to balance the darkness. So it's not about controlling what the other people are talking about or controlling your environment. It's about taking your own seat of personal control and transmuting whatever you're experiencing as darkness into light. And sometimes that does mean that you just physically have to walk away. You can't change others' perspectives if they're very intent on believing that something is negative. So if somebody really hates where they work, it's going to be a tough case to make to them to love where they work. But if you don't mind where you work, this is where then you can either just speak positively about where you work when you can, and you're balancing out their darkness with your light, And again, it's not, you don't have to say it to their face. It could just be that as you're communicating about your place of work, you're communicating from a place of positivity and from a place of lightness, of being almost. Or, if this is, let's say, just within yourself, if things are coming up within yourself that you feel are dark, maybe past regrets or past things that have caused you pain, or even parts of yourself that maybe have caused you to feel embarrassed or ashamed, bring those up and I know this is going to sound a little strange, but love into it, because love is the energy of light. I look at those two things as hand in hand. It's the connective force that connects all of us together on the most base level. And so there's this element of loving those parts of yourself, seeing yourself as that inner child. When we think about an innocent child and we see them hurting, or we see them put themselves down, we instantly want to go over and assure them that they're okay, and that, we all make mistakes and we all go through things, but that they're still a good person, and that the next time they'll just know to do something a little different. And we need to tell ourselves that. We need to bring that same love that we would give to a vulnerable child and bring that to ourselves. So this week, Libra, it's about, through the energy of love, transmuting and balancing out what is dark in your life with light. And again, this does not look like you telling other people to not be dark or to speak only positivity. This is you deciding to do so. And to also, so since we're in the seat of curiosity, we want to really be open, to not come into this week with preconceived notions of, well, I'm sure it's this that's negative, or I'm sure it's about allowing it to unfold. Be the observer in your life for this week, and also what comes up within you. So as you're asking this question, what feels dark? What feels dark? Does this feel dark? Does this feel heavy? And then with each thing that comes up that feels that way, to then bring awareness to bringing that light and love to it. And this is how, by the end of the week, you're going to have a very individualized experience of what's dark and the power of your ability to balance that with your own light. Beautiful message, Libra. Okay, I'm going to pull an energy oracle card to allow us to tap into the principle of courage. And this is where we get the chance to we get a chance to have courage to take conscious action. And why is that important? Because this is what engages us with life, engages us with the present moment. This is what allows us to not go through an entire day where we look back and can't remember half of what we did. So every day we have all these little decisions and actions, decisions to make and actions to take. And we need to be consciously aware of them. Consciously aware, so that we are consciously aware that we are making decisions and taking action that are within our own best interest. That we are allowing ourselves, as we take action, to consult with ourselves. Okay, is this bringing out a part of me? Am I engaging the best part of myself with this? And is this action going to result in something that I think is going to be beneficial for myself? And so it's this active engagement, and that's what allows us to engage with life instead of just moving through it like a robot and just trying to get to the end of the day or trying to get to the next weekend. Because I lived that life personally, and I know what it's like to wake up 10 years, a decade later, to look back and say, oh my gosh, how did I get here? Who am I? How did I get into this place? And I can't even remember a single decision I've taken on my own behalf in a decade. And that can be a really scary place to be. It was a very illuminating place for me to be, but it was a place that I really had to extricate myself from. And it was a long process. And so why I do these readings and why I have my spiritual coaching service is to help people not have to waste 10 years or 30 years or even 1 week of simply because they're not engaged with the actions that they take. This is also our seat of personal empowerment. This is our free will. This is where we get the chance to have courage to take action, to change. So change starts from within. And the more that we change how we act and the actions that we choose to take, that's how our external environment changes, not the reverse. So we have man holding a heart, number 45. So when I'm thinking about the concept of courage, and this is all about taking conscious action, Libra, I'm getting a really strong feeling with this card that a lot of you are struggling with what I feel the dark part of your experience is perhaps loss in love, unhappiness in love, not feeling like you can bring your light or share who you are in a committed partnership. And so this can be hard. That's a hard energy to transmute. It's hard when we've gone through a place where we feel that perhaps we were not loved for who we are by another, or that a part of ourselves was not recognized. It also hurts when somebody makes us feel less than. This can look like somebody cheated on you, or somebody just simply broke up with you and said, you're not good enough for me, or it gave you the line of it's me, not you, but it's still left a bad taste in your mouth. But there's this, and again, you don't have to be a woman and this a man, or like this can just be the partner in your life. But I do feel that there's this energy coming through now of having the courage to re-engage with that energy of commitment and partnership from a refreshed, renewed, positive, light perspective. And that's hard. That's hard when we have been hurt. That's hard. In fact, that's probably one of the most difficult, dark wounds that we can carry with us. Because it's very, a partnership is meant to elevate who we are, but it also can illuminate a little bit, because we kind of do this reflecting with the other person. We get a chance to see ourselves through somebody else's eyes. And if that other person is showing us a false version of ourselves, a negative version, we can sometimes adopt that as our belief of ourselves, that this person saw me as not worthy, and so I must not be worthy. This person saw me as whatever. They told me I was naggy. They told me I was too intense. They told me that my passion was not, my creative passion was not worth anything. And so we end up bringing that on ourselves. And even if that relationship is no longer a part of your life, you still carry around that kind of dark baggage with you. So there is this quality this week of having the courage to love into that, to bring light into those dark places and to dissolve them. They are not yours to carry anymore, Libra. That was somebody else putting on you their perspective, their probably what they were feeling about themselves, putting it on you. But either way, you are living your life. Spirit is asking you to remember that you are a being of light, and that you are loved and constantly at all times connected to Spirit, and that it's not on somebody else to come in and make you feel dark and heavy. You are a loved being of light. So this is where this week it's about feeling into that, loving into that, and dissolving anything that has made you feel less than, or anything that you feel tied directly to romantic partnerships where you feel fear, where you don't feel like you can be vulnerable, or maybe you're pushing away that person from coming into your life because you don't want to have to go through that again. And this is where you get a chance to change that, to say, I love myself. I don't have to carry around that baggage and that hurt and that pain. That was the other person's to take with them. And I get now to shine my light like a beacon that will attract the right person to me, who will see my light as Spirit is asking me to remember that I am and that I have constantly within myself. So it's going to be hard. That really takes courage to be able to see that, experience it, and release it. And release it with love. I love that I am learning about myself. I love that I can realize that I have the power to transmute darkness, even if it's coming from somebody else, through taking action to bring light to that. And that's how we get to change our perspective, to change even our perception of our external environment as well as ourselves. That we can realize, wow, how I was perceiving myself was through the lens of somebody else, through the dark lens of somebody else. And I can choose to change that and perceive myself as the wonderful being of light that I am. And that all of those things about me that make me me are meant to be shared, are meant to be engaged with life, and are lovable. And it's what ultimately will allow me to be able to fulfill my spiritual purpose, the more that you bring out that part of yourself. Okay, so now we are going to pull a final card for the concept of, or the principle of contemplation. And this is where we get to engage with active reflection. What does active reflection mean? That means that we are not sitting there just building in a 30-minute meditation practice where we get to contemplate life. No, active reflection means that at all times, that every time we make a conscious decision or take a conscious action, we then actively reflect in the moment on the consequence of that action or decision or reaction. So this is what allows us to stay present in the moment, to learn from our actions. So this is our seat of self-education through direct experience. And this is what keeps us from becoming stagnant, from not realizing that our actions are having specific consequences or reactions in our external environment. This is what allows us to see in the moment, okay, great, that was a great consequence. I want to take more of these actions, or I want to make more of these decisions. Or the reverse. Wow, that was not beneficial. That did not work out the way I wanted. Okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to change how I act the next time I'm in this situation, the next time I speak to this person, or the next time I do whatever. So again, we're actively learning. All right, Libra, so we have two cards that came out, two very powerful cards, by the way. So we have the Crumbling, and it says, what are you clinging to? And this is almost like the Tower card in the tarot. So a very powerful card here. And there is this quality, I think, what's really interesting tying into, what we were discussing here, which is being on the dark side of these doors and realizing that there's lightness and brightness and almost like, again, the land of Oz or heaven on the other side. And all you have to do is walk through. You don't have to stay in the darkness. You can walk into the light, into the place that is fully meant to be yours. And then we have Align Your Life. And it says, what is not aligned or needs to change? So the crumbling in this, what's coming through for me here with channeling kind of the tower card in the tarot is there is something in your life right now that is in your external environment changing, and it's changing beyond your control. And it may seem scary, and it might be the ending of a long-term relationship, or it might be a job change, or it might be a home situation change. But there's something here where it's coming down. The doors are opening whether you want them to or not. The tower is coming down whether you want it to or not. Whatever you've been kind of hiding behind that's not allowed you to fully experience your light and for the external environment to engage with that light. That's really what Spirit is calling you to do here, is to illuminate for you that part of yourself that has not been allowed to be illuminated, to shine, and to engage with your external environment. And because all the gentle pushing hasn't allowed you to just kind of naturally come to that place, Spirit's coming in and saying, okay, enough. We're taking away the security blanket. We're taking off the training wheels. We're opening the doors. You can see it, and the doors aren't closing again. They're going to keep opening, and they're going to keep pushing on you, and you're going to eventually have to walk through them. And in order to do that, that's to show that there's some aspect of your life that's not in alignment with with your spiritual purpose. And so active reflection this week, it's about reflecting on what is changing. What is that big change that you know is coming? Again, whether it is a change in a partnership, a significant long-term partnership, a job change, a home environment change, but there is something here that is now no longer in alignment because something major is changing. So where do you need to align yourself? Where do you need to, as you're transmuting darkness with your beauty, with your light, what no longer feels comfortable for you? What no longer feels right and balanced? In Libra, you're a sign of balance. So what no longer feels like it fits? So as you're asking yourself here, what feels dark, you're taking courage to actively shine a light onto that and love into it and release it. As you're doing that, what is changing for you? What is dramatically changing for you? All right, Libra, this is going to be a powerful week. You guys have been getting, again, very powerful messages. You and Scorpio and a few other signs I feel like are getting these it's like the continual just push from Spirit. There's something that you are all meant to, and I think it is because you harness that superpower of balance, and the scales are so out of balance right now. You know, if you think about a pendulum, we are so, as a, not only, you know, when I think of American society, but when I think about what's happening globally and with the pandemic involved and all of that, there's this quality of the pendulum swinging really high to one side and really high to another. And Libra, you guys are all meant to come in and help bring that energy of balance, so that as the pendulum starts to kind of go like this, you're part of that to help it come back here. Now, that's going to look different for each one of you. It might be something as simple as leaving a significant partnership and just having the courage to step into a new relationship that is beautiful and supportive, and in doing that, that's going to unlock something about yourself that will continue to further your spiritual purpose. Or it can be just simply accepting that you're done with your current job or the field that you work in, and you know you're being called to work someplace else, and it's as simple as just leaning into that and saying, I release this. It doesn't feel good anymore. It feels heavy, and I know that this feels lighter. And I know this elevates my lightness. This elevates me. It allows me to feel like a lighthouse, where I did not feel that way doing this. And that's kind of your flag, and not a red flag, not like, it's like the flag of this is the right direction to go in. What makes you feel like you would become a lighthouse for others? All right, Libra. I hope that this has been an illuminating reading. I hope it's a great week for you guys. If you'd like to book a personal tarot reading or a one-on-one coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. Thank you for all your likes, subscribes, and comments. They're greatly appreciated. And thank you for just watching this video. It means a lot to me. It allows me to continue to do what I love and what I feel is my emotional fulfillment through connecting with my spiritual purpose. So thank you, Libra. Bye, guys.